Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Future Shift, the podcast where we dive deep into the technologies shaping tomorrow and explore how innovation is transforming our everyday lives. Whether it's AI, renewable energy, or the future of work, if it's something that's driving change, we're talking about it. I'm Sam, and with me is my co-host Mike. We're not just here to chat, we're here to dig deep into the big questions backed by the latest data and real-world insights. And remember, folks, this is an audio-based podcast, so feel free to enjoy the conversation while doing your daily tasks, driving, or working out. We're here to keep you informed and engaged, no matter what you're up to.
Hey Sam, good to be here again. I love that we get to dive into these topics that really matter. Because let's be honest, technology is transforming everything. And today's episode? It's huge. Electric vehicles, or EVs, are all over the news, and not just because of Tesla anymore. They're transforming the transportation industry and playing a crucial role in the fight against climate change.
Exactly, Mike. Today's discussion on the rise of electric vehicles and sustainability will go way beyond just the cars themselves. We'll be talking about the technology, the industry, the supply chain issues, and the environmental impact. So let's kick this off. EVs, why are they the future? And why is everyone from Elon Musk to major governments betting on them? Let's start by breaking down the fundamental reason behind the rise of EVs: the environment. Transportation accounts for a massive share of global CO2 emissions, around 15% globally, and even higher in some countries. EVs are seen as a crucial way to bring that number down. But Mike, tell us how much of a difference EVs are really making.
Great place to start, Sam. So, the math is pretty compelling. Over the lifetime of an EV, studies show that they produce about 50 to 60% less CO2 emissions than traditional internal combustion engine vehicles. Even when you account for the energy used to produce the batteries, which is substantial, the overall carbon footprint is still much lower.
That's key, right? People sometimes forget that even though making an electric vehicle, particularly the battery, involves significant emissions up front, the long-term benefits are much greater. In cities where air pollution is a huge issue, like Beijing or New Delhi, the impact on air quality is profound, not just in terms of CO2, but also in reducing nitrogen oxides and particulate matter.
Yeah, and to put that in perspective, Sam, the World Health Organization estimates that about 4.2 million people die prematurely every year due to outdoor air pollution. EVs can help chip away at those numbers by reducing pollution from vehicles. But it's not just about emissions. There's a whole ecosystem change happening here.
Right, let's talk about the global trends. It feels like every car maker is jumping on the EV bandwagon. Tesla made headlines early on, but now it seems like every automaker is announcing plans to go fully electric. What's the data showing us?
Oh yeah, it's a complete shift. Global EV sales are expected to top 14 million units by the end of 2024, up from just 3 million in 2020. This massive growth is being driven by a combination of government mandates, consumer demand, and falling costs. For example, in Europe, EVs accounted for over 20% of new car sales last year. And in Norway, it's even crazier. Over 80% of all new vehicles sold are electric.
That's wild. Norway is ahead of the curve, but we're seeing massive growth in other markets too. China is leading the global EV revolution, with companies like BYD and NIO giving Tesla serious competition. And let's not forget the US, where GM has committed to becoming all-electric by 2035.
Exactly, Sam. The shift isn't just happening in a few pockets. It's global. Automakers like Ford are investing $30 billion into EV development over the next few years, and Volkswagen is pouring $75 billion into electrification. These aren't just concepts anymore. It's real money, real infrastructure, and real growth.
And speaking of infrastructure, that's a huge factor. Charging stations, battery production facilities, this isn't just about cars anymore. It's about transforming the entire ecosystem around how we use energy for transportation.
Let's dive deeper into the tech side. At the heart of every EV is the lithium-ion battery. It's incredible to think how much progress we've made. Battery prices have fallen by 89% in the past decade, which has been a game changer for making EVs affordable.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I remember when Tesla's first Model S launched in 2012. It was a luxury item, something for tech enthusiasts with a lot of cash. Fast forward to today, and we've got cars like the Nissan Leaf and Chevy Bolt bringing EVs to the mass market. But there are still some challenges, right? Let's talk about range anxiety.
Yeah, range anxiety is one of the biggest psychological barriers to EV adoption. People worry about running out of battery far from a charging station. But in reality, we're seeing huge strides in battery capacity. The average EV now has a range of around 250 to 300 miles, and that's improving every year.
And charging infrastructure is expanding too. By the end of 2024, the US will have over 50,000 fast charging stations. And Europe is building charging points every 60 kilometers on major highways. The days of worrying about finding a charger are quickly fading.
Exactly. And speaking of charging, the tech is advancing rapidly. We're looking at 10 to 15-minute fast charges to get an 80% refill. Tesla's superchargers, as well as competitors like Ionity in Europe, are making long-distance EV travel more convenient.
So Mike, let's address the elephant in the room. Are EVs really sustainable? You've got the energy-intensive process of mining lithium, cobalt, and nickel. Not to mention, if you're charging an EV on a coal-powered grid, are we really reducing emissions?
This is a great question, Sam, and it's where the debate gets more nuanced. Yes, mining for the materials and batteries does have a significant environmental impact. For example, 70% of the world's cobalt comes from the Democratic Republic of Congo, where there are concerns about human rights abuses and environmental degradation.
Yeah, but over the lifetime of the vehicle, EVs still come out ahead, right? Once they're on the road, they produce no tailpipe emissions.
Exactly. Studies show that even when you account for the production process, EVs still produce about 50% fewer emissions than internal combustion engines over their lifespan. And if you're in a region where the grid is powered by renewables, like Iceland or Norway, EVs are almost carbon neutral.
It's really about where you're getting your energy from. Countries like Germany are pushing hard to phase out coal and switch to wind and solar, which makes EVs even more beneficial.
Exactly. The real sustainability solution comes when we combine electric vehicles with renewable energy. That's the ultimate goal.
All right, Mike, let's wrap this up by talking about the future. What's next for electric vehicles? Autonomous driving, electric trucks, buses?
Great question. We're already seeing the rise of autonomous EVs. Companies like Waymo and Cruise are testing fully autonomous EVs in cities like San Francisco and Phoenix. This will change not just personal transportation, but logistics, deliveries, and public transit.
And then there's the big shift to electric trucks and buses. Imagine a world where cargo transport is fully electric. That would significantly reduce emissions, especially since trucks account for around 20% of global vehicle emissions.
Absolutely. Companies like Rivian and Tesla with their Cybertruck are paving the way for a new era of electric utility vehicles. And don't forget electric public buses. They're already making a difference in cities like Shenzhen, where the entire fleet of over 16,000 buses is electric.
The future is electric, no doubt. And with improvements in battery technology, infrastructure, and policy support, the pace of adoption is only going to accelerate.
Couldn't agree more, Sam. The rise of EVs.
All right, that's a wrap for today's episode on the rise of electric vehicles and sustainability. We hope you found this conversation insightful and learned something new about the future of transportation and how it impacts our planet.
Yeah, it's been a deep dive, and we're just scratching the surface of what's to come with EVs and the shift towards a more sustainable future. There's so much more to explore.
And if you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any future episodes. We've got more big topics coming your way. Everything from cutting-edge tech to innovations that are shaping the way we live and work.
And don't forget to like the episode and leave us a review. It helps us reach more listeners like you, who are passionate about learning and staying ahead of the curve.
Until next time, keep thinking about the future and all the possibilities it holds. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next episode of Future Shift. Stay curious, stay informed, and we'll see you soon.